Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Duran.
Haley?
We also got Nathan in the background here who will be getting on the mic on this. So, question for you. How do you define happiness and have you found it?
What? I mean,
Yes, I have found the
Jesus Christ.
Is that happiness for you or for her?
Man. Oh, I can we take the mic away from him now, actually? I mean, yes. I don't know how you define happiness. Like, just note the emotion. Being
Like,
content with your life and not more than content, I guess. But I mean, I'm not miserable, so there's that.
But are you happy?
Usually, yeah.
And you're
I have
pregnant
good
right
days.
now, so that's
Yeah. I'm like, I got good days and bad days.
that's a high low moment, you know.
Yes.
Some
It's a
days you
goddamn
can
roller
breathe.
coaster.
Some days the baby's pushing up against your
Yep,
kidneys.
yep. Some days I'm great, and other days I'm apologizing to my coworkers in advance for almost murdering people.
I'm not good with emotions. That's why I married
I have the emotions. For
She
both
has
of us.
them all.
I have all of them, and
Which is why it's a very interesting question for you. Because you're very level, right? You're either angry, like when you're angry, or you're just like, everything's cool.
pretty much.
So for you, what is actually happiness?
I already said it.
like
I have been
genuine,
laid.
like genuine answer, smart ass.
And I can say I saw you on your wedding day, so I've seen you smile a lot and be happy.
Well, that was because I got my teeth
He felt more comfortable.
That's fine.
Yeah. Mhm.
But it was more than just a smile. You could feel it from Nathan.
Could you, Michael?
You
Could
like
you feel it?
you
I
like
could.
me.
I could. From when we were
Embarrassing.
kind of in there with all the groomsmen until
Yeah, that's
I mean
why he's my
until I
best man.
left. So it was just a different feeling of
Mhm.
like Haley finally got off her ass and said yes.
Haley, stop dragging her feet.
I guess for me though, when we look at happiness, it's not just being content. It's knowing who you are first.
Mm.
Because I feel like a lot of people look for happiness in someone else.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it too. Like for a long time, I've looked for happiness in friends or in family or even in a spouse, and it wasn't. I mean, honestly, until I started talking with my therapist, and yes, people, it's not bad to have a therapist. We're in 2024,
Go to therapy if you can.
right? But I started uncovering a lot of problems and realizing I was blocking my own happiness by trying to hold on to everything. And some things you just gotta let go. So for me, happiness is having a healthy mind. I'm still working on the healthy body part of it all. as Nathan noted earlier, I need a little less fat, a little more muscle.
Nah, you're fine.
That's when you die. Remember?
I need that before. Well, maybe I need to stay where I'm going. But overall, man, a big part of my happiness lies in my family, and I think it's always going to lie in that, knowing that I can, like for me, seeing what I've created, and the creation me and Brittany have created, and what we have, but also our daughters, and seeing them flourish, like that's a big part of my happiness. But man, I'm so happy to be like mentally together because I see so much nowadays, so much. So Duran, what does happiness look like to you?
A finger point?
We gonna pass on it today?
We
You
gonna,
gonna
we'll wait a little bit. I don't understand. We're good. So, okay. So it's funny actually that you mentioned the whole finding happiness in yourself as opposed to trying to get it from others.
Yeah.
'Cause I am not very good at that. Because I have what I call a very uncooperative brain that likes to sabotage me frequently and point out. Basically, my mom explained it to me years ago. Like everyone has an inner critic, and I was like, "Well, mine's a bitch. She sucks. She's really rude and mean all the time." So I definitely struggle with the idea of, oh, I can make myself happy, or my happiness comes from myself and not my relationships or my. One thing I've struggled with is the idea of my success, whether or not I'm successful, if that makes me happy or not. And oh, well, you shouldn't be happy because you haven't accomplished these things. And
Yeah, hold
that
on.
kind of nonsense.
Do you have an inner critic?
I do.
Most
do.
people do. Most people.
I do.
Not robot brains.
I do have an inner critic, and it's very. I'm hard on myself a lot, and sometimes that has to like.
There's a difference between being hard on yourself and like having high standards and a voice inside your head telling you you are a piece of shit all the time.
Well, no, I don't have that.
Oh.
My inner critic does not attack me.
Oh no, my inner critic is really, really, really mean.
Okay,
And her
mine
mother
is-
gaslighted her so hard to
No.
believe that that's a normal thing.
No, that's not what she did at all.
Yes, it is because
It
she has the
is.
same thing.
No.
I mean, but if she thinks it's normal and her kid has it,
Because mental illness is hereditary.
Yeah.
Duh.
but it's also something that they're still learning is
And, yeah.
like learning how deep of an impact it's having.
Well, and not just that, but I would argue that kind of like Michael was saying is that he has an inner critic in that he has one that is hard on him. It's just not as severe as
I feel like that's just called
mine is.
standard.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I guess I have a standard that it depends on how you look at it. I
Mhm.
guess with your mindset of like you're very orange minded, and I say that I just
I'm
did.
colorblind.
I
was about to ask, what is
I just did this
orange-minded?
experiment with my employees to kind of see like what color spectrum they are because it tells how they think.
Oh,
And very orange minded are more like data.
Analytical. Yeah,
they're
it's very analytical.
and they don't really work off of emotions. They can see somebody crying at work and they're like, "Okay, you good? All right, I'm gonna go finish this."
Yeah, and also
like
not a lot of
emotions.
shades of gray.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah.
Everything's fairly straightforward.
But they're the best workers. They're out here like they're getting it done. They're meeting deadlines.
Yup.
They're on time.
Yeah.
And I guess when you look at it like that, like yeah, the thinking pattern is gonna be more of like these are just my standards of I'm not gonna do just the bare minimum. Like this is what I want. My inner voice talks to me, but it doesn't insult me.
No,
I'm in the middle of you
mine
both.
mine is and again, I have good days and bad days, but on bad days she's like perched on my shoulder almost and just like, hey, fun fact, everyone you know actually kind of hates you a little bit. I'm like, oh great, thanks. So yeah, so the whole happiness comes from within. I'm like, that's a little difficult to do sometimes.
But it does take work.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it also takes.
If I
like,
had the
knowing
time and money,
yourself.
I would absolutely go to therapy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing she believed as a kid.
That was a lie.
It was a lie. Is that everyone hated me?
No, the inner critic thing.
Oh, no, that
oh.
she didn't tell me until I was an adult, babe.
Last year.
Last year.
She just found it out.
like early 20s, but yeah.
Yeah.
Are we still on the happiness thing?
We are.
Yeah, we are still in the happiness thing. Yeah, we're still talking about how you define happiness and are you happy?
I mean, I came from a very blue collar family on both sides. So basically, I meet my necessities, and then if I see something that brings dopamine that lasts for all of like 20 minutes, and then I go back to regular. Like that. So happiness is not a lasting feeling.
Part of that could also be the fact that we both are ADHD, and that is a very, very common thing with people with ADHD is that our brain literally produces less dopamine than most people.
But I guess when we talk about happiness,
Mhm.
looking at your entire life as it is now,
Mhm.
are you happy with where you're at or with how your life is going?
I mean, there's definitely some things that like I would not have expected 5-10 years ago to be in the job I have now. I would have, my original plan was, oh, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get this degree and I'm going to work my dream job and blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of a bit of a rude awakening when I realized, I might not have a dream job. I might just work to pay bills. And that's totally okay. And kind of adjusting to that still a little bit. But
I mean, here's my answer to that. How can you have happiness without sadness? So you can't have a constant happiness. If it's constant, then that's the normal.
all relative.
So here's why. Just answering that question, I can proudly say I'm happy, like I have happiness, because when we talk, you're right. You can't have happiness without the sadness. But when we look at where I've come from, um, and I mean like growing up, and I've said it before in an earlier podcast, like growing up and paying for bread and bologna and cheese with change at a grocery store because that's what we had as a family of six to eat for the week. Um, and when you do that for so long, and now you're at a point where, hey, you go to the grocery store and you get 12 things, and it's $200, but you can pay for it, and you're okay. Like seeing the relative change of that makes me think like, okay, I am, for me, I'm in a better position than I've been, and it's constantly improving. Yes, I'm happy with where I'm.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like I can see that, but that's just a longer comparison.
Yeah.
To me, that's just my new normal.
But is your new normal better than your old normal? Because for some people, their new normal is not.
Do I care? Normal is normal.
I guess it really
That's the
depends.
most roundabout answer. I love it.
Like Hakuna
This is
Matata, it's
hilarious.
in the past.
Oh, makes so much sense now that that's your favorite movie as a kid.
It is also my favorite movie, which is funny because we see it so much different.
Mhm.
Very interesting. We're definitely gonna have a part 2 on this because I feel like we got to dive deeper into
To Nathan's brain.
new normal is normal.
Just gonna
is normal.
lobotomize him.
Yeah. Yeah. But y'all let us know what y'all think. What do y'all consider happiness, and are y'all happy now? Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget follow and share before we forget the podcast. Peace.
Bye.